Bavaria is so far my favorite area of Germany. The Alps are right there. It's got these beautiful little towns, and there's so many different parts of Bavaria that you could go visit. But this video is going to be focusing on the area around Füssen, Germany. Now, Füssen is located literally right on the border of Germany and Austria, specifically the Tyrol area of Austria. And one of its draws is that it's only about 5 minutes from the Neuschwanstein. Ich spreche etwas Deutsch, aber dieses Wort ist so schwer auszusprechen. I really struggled to pronounce that word. So it's only about 5 minutes from the Neuschwanstein Castle. The Neuschwanstein Castle is considered one of the most beautiful in Germany and is actually the castle that the Disney Corporation decided to base their main castle on. When you head over to Neuschwanstein Castle, be aware that you need to have tickets to get inside, and these days you need to get them ahead of time online. It's a pretty simple hike up to the castle, and you're welcome to go up to the castle and at least look around with or without a ticket. There are a few restaurants and stuff near there, but there is not a whole lot to do unless you enter the castle. While you're over by the castle, be sure to take the short walk over to the Alpsee, which is a lovely lake with a backdrop of the mountains again. There is even another castle nearby that you can go to, a museum you can choose to go to. It's definitely something that you could spend a day around the area. Füssen is a beautiful little town, either for you to stay or at least spend some time walking around. It's got the Alps as a backdrop with that great sort of quintessential German look to it. Now, for your next day, go in Austria, and typically, this is as simple as going from state to state in the United States. There's been a little bit of time during COVID where they would do some checks at the borders, but typically you can just drive right over. And as you enter the Tyrol area, this is just a stunning place in general. There's so many different stops, but what we're going to be doing is seeing some of the mountains. So I suggest from there that you make your way over to Zugspitze. Zugspitze is split between Germany and Austria. It is the highest peak in Germany. You're going to want to book your tickets ahead of time, especially during the winter. I was able to walk right up in June with my son, but during the winter, we actually got turned away one time. There's actually two options. You can either enter from the German side or from the Austrian side. If you're in Füssen, I suggest just going to the Austria side. It is actually slightly cheaper to take the cable car up from the Austria side and not quite as crowded. Now, once you get to the top, all the crowds mix together, but my suggestion is to enter from the Austria side. When you go to Zugspitze, you're not going to just want to take the cable car up to the summit, but you'll also want to take a second cable car down into the glacier that is up on top of that mountain. The glacier for me was when the real magic happened. Even when we were there in June, it was full snow, it's sunny, don't forget your sunscreen, and there is a restaurant to sit at, there's sledding for the kids, there's skiing. The glacier is actually a sort of bowl, this maybe 1 kilometer wide or maybe even more bowl up at the top of this mountain. So be sure to get the cable car tickets for both the summit and the glacier. If you're in the winter, there's also the option to do sledding or skiing in other parts of the Tyrol area. You can go over to Bavarian. If you just simply Google sledding around there, there will be multiple options. And there are few things quite as magical as taking your kids sledding in the Alps. I tend to like to avoid the tourists. Now, Zugspitze definitely has the tourists, but a lot of these great sledding areas are not quite as touristy if you're going in the winter. If you're there in the summer, absolutely be sure to stop into some of the gorgeous alpine lakes that are there. There's usually options for paddleboarding, swimming, all kinds of other beautiful things. But really within a short drive from Füssen specifically, or you could stay over in Tyrol, there is a lot of beauty to behold. If you're coming from Germany, this area is a really great place to be pretty quickly into the Alps, start getting the whole Alpine feel without quite the same price point as Switzerland or without having to go quite as far into Austria. As I've stated in other videos, another fun thing is to stop into some of the stores, pick up some local cheeses and other local fare, but you will never forget going up into the Alps with your kids. Happy travels, and we'll see you in our next video.